I'd love to share some of my experiences as CTO at ExamSoft of why we chose Synerzip and our working relationship we've had with them the last few years. We're a small, high-growth technology software company. We were faced a few years ago with the combination of all the factors that every small technology company faces, which is I only have a set number of dollars, I've got to move to market quickly, and I've got to build things that are impressive in the market and maybe hard to find the skill set for. Over the years, I've built both a US team and also augmented it with large teams through Synerzip, who I feel have really helped us accomplish a number of goals. First and foremost, it's very difficult for me to find good software talent here in the US. We're always hiring the best. We are very picky at our firm, so we're always looking for good engineers. But along the way, we say, how can we augment that with folks offshore, folks throughout the globe? And Synerzip's a great partner. I think their culture, their history, and the fact that they've got so many employees who have been there for so long with such great tenure really helps them attract high talent folks out in India. I've done a lot of onshore, offshore project management in previous companies, and Synerzip kind of runs through the model that I prefer, which is give a lot of ownership to your people, pick the best, challenge them to impress the client, and good things will come. So we really started using Synerzip for quality assurance services. We built out a team of about 6 or 7 people, and they've actually raised the bar on our quality levels beyond anything we'd ever seen in the past. In fact, it was so hard for us to find QA people here in the US, when we went to Synerzip, their QA team came in and said, by the way, here's how it's done. And they actually outlined the process, put it together, so when you're talking about concerns like, am I going to have to worry about managing this team? They manage themselves, and in many ways they're going to push you to best practices that maybe you haven't been considering. So that's one benefit we've seen. The other area where we got involved is we have an iPad application, and we don't have any iOS engineers on staff. We've got a number of Mac developers, and they kind of understand the language, but they don't specialize on iOS. We knew we had to get a product out to market quickly, and Synerzip had a great iOS practice. So we went and got a team to come and help build our iPad application. From the time we started development to the time it was on market was about 6 months, and I was extremely impressed with the process that we went through. To put it in perspective, I, as the CTO, was kind of the product manager and the main point of interaction for that team. I know one of the concerns that I have, and everybody has, is am I going to lose so much productivity and so much of my time managing this offshore team that's just not worth it? I can say with Synerzip's culture and the way they kind of grow and treat and nurture their employees, that's not going to be the case. In fact, in my case, it turned out that that team really took the ownership. I would email them a couple times a day, I would have weekly phone calls, and I'd be getting builds with features in it that I could have my testing team start testing. It was a very cooperative and very good process between the two of us, and I'm very happy with the results. Why do I think that I'm getting these different kinds of results from Synerzip? Well, as I've kind of dug into the culture of the company, some of the things that stand out to me, number one is the tenure of the employees there. There are employees there who have been there 6, 7, 8 years. I know some of the team members of my team have been there 3, 4, 5 years. This is almost unheard of in a kind of onshore-offshore model. Typically you see these things where people are cycling in and out every 6 months. That's not happened to me in my over 2 years of experience with Synerzip, and I can understand why. Internally, there's this healthy management team at Synerzip that's helping mentor and grow those employees. They're giving their employees opportunity to do training. They're giving their employees opportunities on new projects to go and lead something. Not only that, myself as a client, I've had numerous times where Synerzip has approached me and said, hey, you know what? Here's an idea of an improvement that we have for your product or your process. And in fact, we've got a couple of new employees who are looking to improve themselves. We want to put them on a 3-month project to really prove out what they can do for you. If you like their work, you can bring them on as resources. If not, they've had a good learning experience. Not only does that give me a lot of confidence as a manager, it really empowers that employee to know I can make my destiny here and I can kind of form my future. I think it's those kinds of opportunities that they give their employees that provide for that kind of long-term view. Most recently, we've actually added yet another development team, so I now have 3 teams at Synerzip, and they are not only the major development arm, but in charge of building out our next kind of big product. I've got a senior product manager over here that is helping architect and direct on the code side. We've got a team of about 4 or 5 people kind of helping build that product and launch it to market. We've just gotten so confident with our experiences in the last few years that we wanted to grow this experience even further. So I'm maintaining a good cost advantage on my pool of development resources. I'm speeding my code to market through a 24/7 development cycle, which is manageable because Synerzip has a great culture, great people, and a great ownership mentality that I just wouldn't do business without that in place. So overall, I'm an extremely satisfied customer. I'd encourage you to give Synerzip a consideration.